Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson.
And once again, you have found us. We're Santa Rosa Week, Mediacom Channel 27, every Saturday from 4:30 until 5. And we appreciate you watching.
It's been quite a week.
Quite a week, Deborah. And we need to our audience, we're going to tell you, we're going to start right out with a clip. But I want you to know, I've been your advocate out there. Deborah and I have spent many tireless hours on your behalf, the taxpayer. I've taken quite a few barbs along the way, been assaulted in every way under the sun, but that's okay. Democracy is what's important.
Well, what's happened is we've been trying for four and a half years to get Team Santa Rosa to open their meetings to the public, as they are legally required to do by Florida statute. Monday County Commission meeting, you finally confronted the County Commission who funds...
In a nice, polite way.
In a nice, polite way. And of course, 90-something% of Team's funding comes from our pockets.
Directly the taxpayers.
Through the County Commission.
Right.
And you basically asked them, what are you going to do about this? They're breaking the law. Their meetings are supposed to be open to us. And what ultimately happened was the county attorney did finally affirm that they are subject to Sunshine Law, which is something we've been pressing for 4.5 years, 5 years.
Well, look,
and we've been put off.
I took on the issue of, and once again, let's explain it. Chapter 119 is public records, ladies and gentlemen. Sunshine Law is the rules concerning public meetings. All right, I took it upon myself. I started on the public records thing almost 5 years ago. Enlisted the state's attorney's office, and I'm gonna give them credit, but I've got something negative to say about them too. I'll give them credit. They did put in writing that Team Santa Rosa was required to fulfill requests of documents. As I pointed out to the commission, they have yet to fill all of them, and some of them have been laying out there since June or August of 08. But that's an argument for another day. I am going to say that this very same issue came to Mr. Bill Eden's office, the state attorney for Santa Rosa County.
Filed by us several months ago.
Filed by us several months ago, well over 5 or 6 months ago. And Mr. Edens, your office won't even return my phone call, sir. Now, with all due respect, I believe you and all of your employees get your salary from the taxpayers. I knew the answer to this before we dropped the question off. What's at issue here is a organization with enough horsepower to make someone comply. And that's what we asked you to do. And sir, I will tell you that you have let me down. And unless you make a drastic change in the near future, I hope you have competition in the next election.
Well, and they let their constituents down too, the public that they're supposed to be serving. You know, they
absolutely
have ignored us for several months now.
Well, Deborah, of course, that was a big day for me yesterday, and I've watched that clip 3 or 4 times. Let's let our audience watch it, and I'm going to enjoy it right along with the audience. So.
This is you asking the county commission to comment on your problem getting meetings open at Team Santa Rosa, and this is their response, ultimately response by the county attorney that affirms that Team Santa Rosa is subject to Sunshine Law. First time we've ever gotten that. Roll tape.
It is honestly, from my heart, my hope that this board will voluntarily bring Team into compliance with the Sunshine Law. I've asked them to be in compliance privately. I have now asked this board to bring them into compliance. I hope this board will consider carefully my comments today and have an open conversation concerning Sunshine Law compliance. And certainly I would like to hear from each of you, either today or at a future meeting, your feelings on this matter. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any comments by the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Cole.
just question to the county attorney. Your interpretation, Mr. Danhauser, of Team Santa Rosa and their need to be in compliance with Sunshine. And if so, are they or are they not?
While every nonprofit isn't subject to the sunshine, it'd be my opinion that they are subject to it based on the various conditions that have been spelled out in court decisions and attorney. With a public body, it's clear, it's black and white. With private nonprofits, you have to go through an analysis of various items, and it's kind of a judgment call whether. But in my opinion, I would believe that King would be subject to the Sunshine Law based on those interpretations.
Mr. Chairman, I think at this time that we should take a moment and discuss that if they're not in compliant, and it stands a chance of this board looking like we're failing to do our duties in that compliance. And I think I'd like to hear from the other board members on that and entertain perhaps a motion to be carried through till Thursday on that discussion.
My comment would be that Commissioner Gooden is the Economic Development Chair this year, and I would like for he and County Attorney to have discussion and get the Chairman of Teams Board involved and come back and make a recommendation to us in a future date.
We have a clear set of rules in the state of Florida.
Regarding Sunshine Law.
Right, quite fittingly in the Sunshine State. It's called the Sunshine Law. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand how important these laws are.
And in simplest terms, Sunshine Law says government business has to be conducted with public access.
Right.
It can't be conducted behind closed doors.
Every step in an operation, each and every step has to be held before the public. And now, probably what most of you are, for example, you all know that the county commission meetings are advertised. If you look in the newspaper, if you look on the web page, there's notice that the county commission meeting is held on this date and this date. That's what we're talking about. The problem has arisen where questions have come forth in boards and in volunteer organizations and all of that, and
that are performing public business.
Right, that are standing in the shoes, quote unquote, for government, making policy decisions, making suggestions to the governing body on how to handle business,
influencing public decisions,
influencing the decisions of your government. And that's why it is vitally important, ladies and gentlemen, that all actions that are taken by your government, whether you personally have the time to be there or not, access needs to be there, so that some of us and the media can be there if they choose, and that's very important. And I want you to know, I'm going to tell you, I put 4.5 years worth of effort into getting to where we are today. It's a good day, Deborah. I put my red, white, and blue shirt on today because democracy and the law, I think, is poking its head out again, and we may see the right things happen here.
Well, and we also know that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance, and we've had to be very vigilant. Of course, what we're talking about is Team Santa Rosa has not allowed the public to attend any of their meetings.
No public meetings.
Right. Despite the fact that an enormous amount of government business and influence on government policy making
millions of dollars worth of monies went into that organization. Right.